So essentially, we started working together in July of 2025. It's now January of
Yes. Yeah.
2026.
Hmm.
So I know that you've had crazy ups and downs and transformations, but I guess just for the person who's
Yeah.
watching who has no idea, where the hell were you
Mm.
in July and where the hell are you today? Like what's changed?
Yeah. So I started dating, online dating after my divorce in the
Mm.
January of last year. And I'd been on a few dates before sort of, came with me. And they were all flailing, all of them. Um, I was way too nice. I was way too safe. I I was really like preoccupied with being like moral and things like that. But I was just in like analysis paralysis, I just wasn't moving forward at all. And then we started working with each other, and one of the things you hit home to me like really soon on was, dates are for the woman deep ultimately is there to have sex with you down the line, at least some point. Um, so yeah, you just took me out of that place of like, safe rapport and actually into like expressing myself, into taking more of a chance, and into taking it into a sexual place, even if it didn't end up that way. The change in my behavior to make it more inclined that way, like the results just started changing fairly soon. Along the way, I definitely
By
had,
the way, Adam, quick question. Can you
yeah,
put your phone on landscape mode?
of course, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, lovely, lovely.
yeah,
Okay.
for sure. Sorry,
All right. So yeah, carry on.
there we go. Yeah, and I think there were loads of beliefs that I had that you sort of shattered. You just you like rewired my brain to many degrees. And so within, I think about 6 weeks of working together, um, I had my first ever one night stand in my life, with a really, really attractive woman. And it was a really fun experience. And from there, it kind of like dispelled a lot of myths in my head, and, the stuff that you can understand conceptually, but when you've done it, it changes your mindset. And then soon after that, I'd start to get more second dates and third dates and stuff after working with you. Um, and I also had another thing tick off my list, which was a car encounter.
Mm.
And that was a booty call at 10 o'clock at night, you know. And that's the sort of thing I'd never have expected like to happen to me. But it was an opportunity both of those were opportunities that I took through your encouragement. There were, because women very rarely say, I want you to come around my house and or whatever. I want to meet in a car park with you. And, but you helped me to see that the hints were being made, and then actually make something happen. And both of those experiences had like flowed very, very easily and quickly. And yeah, they were fun, interesting, like life experiences. Um, and I think the overall confidence you get from having the results. Because one thing you said to me really early on, which really spoke to me, was like, you can't get confident by sitting around and just, you know, mentally masturbating and kind of just trying to sort out your thoughts. Confidence comes through action as well. So I think you had that right balance between orienting me in the right direction, but also just telling me to get moving. Um, and just a lot of you also worked with me on like profile optimization as well. And that did like my numbers of um, results and stuff, numbers of matches and likes and stuff. It kind of blew my mind. And I think one thing that you expressed to me in my profile was just be more like sexual, be more, I'm a man, and and be more fun and things like that. And just the suggestions that you made, little tweaks, like doubled, tripled my matches. And even just like I was worried that if I was saying I was going to looking for short term, that my results would dry up. And if anything, it was kind of the opposite. So a lot of these things just really have changed my perceptions. Um, So it's been a really interesting, intense, fun, crazy kind of journey. And the things that I saw, like I looked back over some of my old messages to girls and some of my old experiences, like from before working with you, and I'm blown away by just things that I did there that was just so stupid, and like little bits of mistakes that you've corrected within me that now are just like it's just natural. It's just stuff that have I don't even think that I've achieved. I've got to that point because you've ironed out the creases to the point where I almost forgot that I had them.
Mm. That's amazing to hear. So I guess what I'm curious about is then what did you what challenges did you have during the process? You know, like what sticking points or what were you kind of confused about, things like this?
I think the moral one was still a bit of a sticking point in terms of relationship management and not wanting to. I think I was a little bit confused because I had part of me that was still in that like a serious relationship, long term mode, and wanting like a deep, intimate connection, and from years of kind of that's years of where I've been. But then deep down, I know that I'm not in that right place at the moment, so I'm wanting to learn the game, to have casual experiences. And I think that conflict, that internal conflict's been hard to deal with. And you've done a great job of that, like trying to unpick some of those beliefs that underpin that, and also unpick some of I'm possibly slightly on the spectrum as well. So dealing with the grey areas of what is this relationship and like, am I setting a false expectation? Am I going to hurt the girl? Um, you're very good at working within the kind of the grey areas and like letting things flow organically. Whereas for me, I'm used to the culture of like, you've got to state what it is, and it's all very. So that was one thing, and then honestly, and this is the reason probably we're not working together anymore. I've had some financial challenges. Um, I had a 5 grand bill at the end of the year, which has like really stung me. So going on date, like it's almost a high quality problem because I was getting too many dates with you, like with your help. I was getting like 3, 4 a week, and it got a bit intense. And I'm going through a career change, um, got on a bit of a weight loss journey, and so trying to balance my priorities, like I felt like women and dates were just dominating my whole life and affecting my ability to do my career change and affecting my quality as a father as well and things like that. So it was almost like it was just too intense towards the end, I think. And some of that was like I was still dealing with some of my programming, but I was actually getting results as well. Um, so I didn't feel like I could really commit to justify the effort that you were putting into me, because I just, yeah, got a million and one different things. At the age of 41, I need to get them sorted out. So I felt like you did a complete like software like upgrade, but I needed a hardware upgrade and to get into a better financial position and um, things like that. Um, so I wasn't able to kind of take on board a lot of the stuff that you were telling me to the fullest extent. Um, but yeah, some of the changes that you've made will just stay with me forever. I can't unsee what I've seen, and I can't undo what I've learned. And they're things that like will massively help me going forward with women and in my love life.
All right, cheers. So I guess last question would be what did you enjoy most about working with me or about the process?
I think it was the way that you read what I needed at the time. So for working with Kieran is like he's not one of these distant people that's like an avatar on a hill that you have to climb up a massive hill to contact. I'd shoot you a message before a date or after a date, and you get back to me pretty quickly. And it was just the whole, you knew when to give me a kick up the backside. You knew when to say, "Come on, Mark, you got this." To encourage me. You just knew what to say when. And even things like little scenarios with women where tactically I'm like, how the heck do I handle this? And you'd know straight away. And there's even times where I didn't believe you. I was like, no, that's not going to work. And it was like the perfect thing. Particularly some of the things about being a bit more forward, being a bit more sexual. Um, I think you completely changed my perception of women and helped me to see that like they're very and they can take it. And so I think just those revelations that you gave me, um, it was like opening a box of like knowledge. And so just I think just on a general basis, like the fact that I could go to you and you'd have like the answer would just it was amazing, and I learned so much through that, and also like the moral support through the process because it is intense dating. Most people watching this, listening to this, know that. But having you there, it takes off a lot of the intensity. It helped me feel supported. Um, it felt like we were on an adventure together to try and, for me, like discovering who I am, as a man and who I am with women. Um, and you were just really like fun, um, really insightful, um, and just constantly surprised me with what the experience and the reservoir of knowledge, and also the perception to know I might be talking X, and you'd go, no, 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 Y. I might think that the problem's a different place, and you'd get to the heart of what the problem was. So it's just constantly like having my mind blown.
Well,
So yeah,
that is absolutely great to hear, and I really appreciate it. I really, really do. So
yeah.
finally, I guess there's probably someone who's watching who's curious about having coaching. Maybe they're scared and they feel like it won't work for them or something like this, or they just have some sort of fears and insecurities. So what would you say to that person?
I would say it's one of those things you won't be the same after having it. Um, I would say it's challenging because having any form of coaching in any domain that you really want to get better at, it is challenging. Kieran makes the whole process fun. He's a great person to speak to. He knows his stuff. He will know when to challenge you. And that'll be hard at times because there's times where your patterns, your beliefs, the things where you're stuck won't want to be challenged. Um, but he will cut through the web. He will cut through the mess. He will get to the heart of the issue. And if you're brave, if you're courageous and you really want this stuff handled, go all in with Kieran and you will not be the same. You will make strides forward and you will enjoy it as well. There'll be times where you're just absolutely flying and buzzing. You will get results. Um, and it is a fun, slightly intense and mad journey, but you can't skip that. You can have a few months of intensity where you'll take massive strides, or you could leave this plateau and you could just go be a consumer like I was, just looking at the content and not really doing anything, not having that accountability. And it might stretch it out for years. But if you need to get this handled now and you want to get going, working with Kieran's invaluable. And this guy he is a savant, he's a don, he's a master. So trust him, go with it. It'll be difficult, but it'll be really, really rewarding. So go for it. Absolutely go for it.
Gosh, well, that was a glowing recommendation. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Thank
No,
you.
I
Thank you.
mean it. Thank you very much for all you've done for me.
All right. So yeah, to the person who's listening, there's contact details on screen and in the description. So book yourself a call and let's have a conversation.
Yeah, do it. Time is now.
All right. So I'm stopping